Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A CloudFoundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
Now, let's say there is a situation where Sam Smith is unable to resolve this case. Let's say he's been working with this customer for a long time and for some reason he's unable to close the case and the customer has now escalated this issue to the management. In case of escalation, where Sam Smith is unable to resolve this case, you have this escalate option as well. Here you can click on escalate and I'll just edit this. Now escalation could either be done by Sam Smith himself, because if he is unable to resolve a case or if there is a case which is beyond his authority. Let's say the customer is asking to refund a complete and 100% amount, and let's say if it's not the policy of the organization to give 100% refund. In that case, he's going to escalate this issue himself to the internal management, right? Someone who is responsible of taking those decisions. What he can also do is go in the Escalate tab over here, set an escalation message that the customer is asking for refund and need your approval, right? You can escalate this issue internally to the organization. And here I can select my Escalate tool. Here I will select the relevant person who I need to escalate this case. Let's say I'm going to escalate this to Amy. Amy is the person who is responsible for escalating any refund related cases. I'm going to enter Amy and I am going to escalate this case to her and I'm going to save this. And now you will be able to see the escalation that there is Amy employee assigned as escalated. Now, since Amy did not have any email address over here, therefore there would no email communication or email notification going to Amy. But in your production instance, if the employee records are correctly set with the email addresses, whenever you do an internal escalation, automatically an email would also go to the person that you're escalating this issue. Now, Amy would also receive an email notification that there is a case that was escalated to her. And then she needs to, put her input and make sure that this case is resolved. I mean, these are all typical conventional scenarios that you would see in a post-support management, right? Whenever you raise a case or a complaint, even if you buy something from a company and there is some warranty related issues or any product related issues, this is something that you would do, right? You would raise a ticket or a case, call them. They would give you a ticket number and start working on that ticket. And finally, close that. And in case if the support management is not giving you the right response, you would then be escalating that issue. Alright. Any questions, Shivrat, at this point? Is this all making sense? Perfectly. But the thing is, if a customer asked us to replace this Smith, as he is not resolving the issues, can we edit and replace some other name instead of Smith is the process. If you establish that the customer needs to return the goods, then remember in our order to cash process we had ARM&A, right? You would then start processing in ARM-A based on the case record. Once you have established that there needs to be a return or a replacement, the case would be closed. once you process that M&A or refund. Here you will just identify if there is a need of return. And if you have established that there is a need of return, then you would ask your sales team to process a return. And then the sales team would be going in the transactions. And there is this option where you can generate your RMAs. They would be identifying the sales order number and processing an M&A. And that's part of our, return to credit process that we saw on our order to cash process. What is the this merge and enable? There is an option now is called as merge and enable spam lock. What are you use of that? It is enable spam lock just to make sure that whenever you are sending out emails against this case from NetSuite, the spam lock is enabled. Whenever the customer receives an email from us, it's not in their spam folder. They are able to see their inbox. That's the idea. And with merge, I believe you can merge your cases. You can merge from case into another case. If there are multiple cases against the same customer, you can simply merge those two cases into one. Right now, there is no other cases available, but you can merge it into multiple cases into one case record. For better handling, let's say at the same point, the customer has raised two cases. And if you realize that these are both related to the same issue, you can just merge it for your internal operations. Correct. And internal processing. Great. In the real time, based on these cases, we need to work on it or else in a different way. Sorry, Shivraj, can you repeat your question? No, in the real-time scenarios. Based on these cases, we need to work, we need to perform, or else how we have to work. How it will be used? In real-time scenarios. In real-time scenarios. I'm sorry, I'm not getting your question. What do you mean by real-time? No, what I'm asking in the real time, based on these cases, we need to perform our work or else how we are going to work. That's what. On what base we need to work, because based on these cases, we need to work. We need to perform our work. We need to deliver our work or else how I'm asking. If you're asking from operational perspective, how an organization would be performing against the cases. This is the responsibility of the support team. There is always a separate support team from your sales team. They're going to assign the cases to us. Exactly. This case management would be the sole responsibility of the customer support team that we have, in our internal organization. They would be working with the cases, and then based on the case type, they would then be assigning internally those cases to the relevant teams. If there was any issue related to the sales pricing, they would then assign that case internally with the sales team. Exactly. And if it was related to some item related thing, then they would assign it to the warehouse team to look into that case. The support manager or the relevant Sam Smith, the other person I assigned this case. He would be the person coordinating with the customer and then internally as well with the relevant teams. That's how it would be working overall. Like we will call as a ticket number. Instead of ticket, we will call as here case right. As I mentioned, you can rename this case record. If I go in, let me just quickly set up company and you have your rename records. Remember our second session where you can rename the records. Correct. Here I can, change the name from case to ticket. If I save this, oh, what the same, right? Exactly. It's the same record. You can just simply rename it. Now, if I go in list support, I can see tickets. It's just the naming convention and now it's all tickets. The number and whatever, but it is now called a ticket within that suite. The record, the table is all same. It's just the renaming or the terminology that you're using in your internal organization. Alright. And since we are talking about this, I would also like to show you some more things here. You have your interaction tab on the case record itself, where you can see all the interactions that happened with the customer and between the support tab. This is all showing you what happened between your customer and support tab. You can see all the emails, the primary contact, any files, anything that was attached on those emails. And then in the escalation tab, you can see if this was escalated to someone. You can also see that. If you let me just edit this. I also want to show you one more thing here, which is very cool. I go again on the standard ticket form. And here you have your matrix. If I click on this notice, you will have the ability to see all the timings and duration and everything that happened on this case. You see, we have spent 60 minutes on this case. This case was open for 15 minutes and 33 seconds. And our initial response time was 3 minutes 47 seconds. It took our support rep 3 minutes 47 seconds to respond to this particular case. And here you can see the date created, the first updated date, the last reopened date, and the customer message it received date. These are all interaction details that NetSuite is capturing. And based on this, you can get all your KPIs. Let's say if you want to see how what is the average lead time a case is opened in your organization or a ticket is opened in your organization. You can have that information. Let's say if the management has established that whenever a case is generated, there should be only minimum 10 minutes of lead time, lead response time from the support team. Now, based on all these information, you can do your key performance indicators and you can evaluate the performance of your support team. If I have set a lead time of 10 minutes, then it should not exceed from 10 minutes, right? But in this case, you can see that this case was open for 15 minutes before it was responded, right? Again, it rings a bell for the management that the support team is either not performing well or perhaps, they can deep dive and find the root cause why this was delayed. NetSuite offers all these, metrics for your internal evaluations and performance indicators as well. Now again, there are certain companies that are very customer centric, and this information that you see here is very important. And for another company who is not very customer centric or very, focusing on the post sales support management, they might not be very much interested in all these details. It all depends upon how you evaluate this information and how you take decisions based on this information and what are your internal processes and internal values for your post-sales support management. Alright, that's the overall process. Let me quickly come back to our agenda. We have created cases. We have created cases. We have created cases. And we did see that in case. If you need to escalate a case internally, how to do that. And once overall case is completed, let's also review some case reports. Metrics is one option that you can get by default on your, case record itself. But then again, NetSuite also has a lot of standard reports that you can also review as part of your daily or weekly or monthly, report analysis or data analysis. If I go in reports and if I scroll down here to tickets, since I have renamed it, it is now showing us tickets. Here I can see my open ticket analysis. I can see my closed ticket analysis. I can see my escalation tickets and ticket activity by support traffic. I'm going to open the right really quick. Open ticket analysis. As the name says, this is where you are trying to analyze all the open tickets between a from and through date. Between these two dates, these were all the open tickets summary. Here you can see your support rep that was assigned. And here you can see the average time of open cases and the total cases. This guy is taking an average time of 423 days, for an open case. It's really crazy. Now, based on this report, you can really evaluate the performance of your support team and see what is the average time a case is open for each support rep. If it's taking too much time, then you would definitely ask the particular support rep what is happening here. Why are they not being active in all those communication and closing the cases? Again, a good visibility for the management and the support managers to evaluate the performance of the support reps. And then if you click on the cases, it will show you the details as well. These are the detailed cases that was actually making up that 420 or 440 days. Brad has been assigned on all these cases. These cases were created on this date, the last modified date. And this is the time it has been open since. And it is still in open status. And these are the companies against which the cases were created. This could be really alarming if the cases are open for many days. And definitely you would want to close them as soon as possible. Again, a very good detailed analysis report that would help you make sure your support operations are working efficiently. And then you have your closed ticket analysis summary. Again, this is basically an analysis that you are doing on all the closed tickets. Between a from date and to date, you can see all the closed tickets and the support reps that had been assigned on those tickets. Sam Smith again, took average time to close was 16 minutes 9 minutes. Mark Jones was 2 tickets between this time. Again, you can see the number of average time and the total count of the cases that was taken by the support rep to close a particular time. And if you want to see the detail, you can click on View Detail. And here you can see Sam Smith overall analysis. He was assigned basically on 2 cases between this time frame. And the case started on this date and the date it was closed was this date. And the time to close was in minutes. Again, perhaps he is doing a good job and closing the cases within minutes. Alright. And then you have your ticket activity or this case activity by support rep. Between a from date and to date, you can see the activity that the support rep has been doing. You can see that Brad was assigned on total 10 cases. His average initial response time was always good. Within 2 minutes, he was responding to the particular case. And the average number of interactions that he has done. Everything is being captured here. And let's see Sam Smith. Sam Smith was actually assigned on 5 cases. And again, his initial response time was almost 3 minutes. And his average time to close the cases was 8 minutes and 50 seconds. And his average interactions was this. And if I click on the details, let me just change the time frame really quick. And here I can see the activity of Sam Smith. From this date to this date, he was assigned on all these cases. These cases were created on this date modified. This is the closing status. And this is the company. And this is the time to close that he took. And the interactions that he made. If I click on interaction, it will actually take me to the TTIC record where I can see the interactions that Sam Smith had actually made with the customer. This is showing you all the activities that the support rep was actually doing to close a case. Again, a very good report to analyze your overall performance of your support reps and your support function, and making sure that they are working efficiently and effectively to close the cases. Any questions, Shivra? No, I'm not. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.